Okay, so we're going to start on a new wharf and supply list, which this is going to be two sections, two 12-foot sections, and this is our lumber. And I'll show you step by step as we go along, but just to give you an idea what you're going to need for two 12-foot sections. We've got, I believe it's 26 1x6 10-foot pieces of veranda flooring. This is all pressure treated. For stringers we have 12-foot 2x6s, and we're going to use 3 per 12 or 3 per box, 12-foot box. So there's 6 of those there. And over here, you can just see there are 2 2x6 10-footers, and we're going to use those on the ends to box in our frame. Okay, so we're going to start cutting, and we'll do this piece by piece, and we'll show you how we go along. So we have our 10-foot 2x6 here, and I just took a measurement, and we're at a 5. That's actually 5 1/4, so we're 5 1/8. We're going to divide this into 2 pieces, and we're going to use these 2 pieces on our ends of our 12-foot box. Oops. Okay, so we got our first box made. So we took our 10-foot 2x6 and we chopped it in half with the chop saw, and that's on the end of the box. And we ran our stringers, our 12-foot 2x6 stringers. You can see the 3 of them there. And a little note, I just want to show you this one little thing here. Be careful to do it like this. When you're attaching your 12-foot stringer, you want to make sure that you do it at this part here of the end of the 2x10, of the 5-foot 2x10. An option would be to take this, it's all screwed in so I can't move it, and put it here, but then you'd have a little overhang. And that's something that, you might want that if you're tying up a big boat or something and you want to attach a ring to your wharf. But we want to make it so that this 1x6 veranda flooring is flush on either end, and that's why we did it this way. Okay, so it's 5 feet, it's perfect 5 feet in width. Okay, so we've started our 12-foot section, and we're putting on we're just chops on, there's my saw, and we're taking our 10-foot 1x6s, and we're just taking them and dividing them into 2 pieces. And this is just a little tip. Look, one of the guys on site here, I'm not going to take credit for this, suggested, because we're putting this platform down, and we're noticing the edges of these 12-foot stringers are moving a little bit. So one of the veteran carpenters on site suggested, yeah, you're a veteran, we put a little brace across there, and we have one at the end here. That was just for squaring it off, but this is just a little tip, and you know what, this is working. This will keep it all square all the way down, because you don't want it to have a little wow, and you want it to be flush on both sides, right? So that's a little tip as you're putting your platform on. Okay, so we have the first platform done. We're going to attempt 2. I finished cutting up all the other little the veranda flooring for the second platform, so we're good to go there. Little tip, doesn't matter, but where all the boards are not perfectly 10 feet, we went flush. Well, actually we started here and we weren't going quite flush, but then look, you see we went flush all the way up the length of the stringer, and we have all of the cut boards over on this side. So if you're really particular, which some may be, some may not, may want to take a sander and just kind of brush that off. I can tell you right now we won't be doing that, but some may, and that's a choice. Little tip here, when you get to the end, I measured back a foot and I stopped. You can see it right there, and that's where the bracket is going to go. So we're just going to stop right, and the mark is there. We measured back about a foot, 12 inches or so. That board was only there to brace it and to keep it flush. We'll pop that off too, and that will prevent us from having to pop the board off, because we're going to lag. We're going to have to drill a hole through that 2x6 to put our bracket on where the post is going to go. So to save us from putting the last 3 boards on and popping the couple off, we just we left them, and we'll lag that that bracket on shortly, and pop the next couple of boards on. I think it's 3 boards will get us to the end. Okay, we'll keep her going. Okay, so we're on our second platform, and the second platform was a heck of a lot easier to put together than the first one, because of course we had the first one to use as a base, so that makes it easier to square everything off. And of course you've got a little platform now. We have our veranda flooring, our 5-foot piece going across the middle to keep our platform square, and we have a piece at the end to keep it square. So those are a couple little tips. And another little tip that we're going to show you is just to put a little
Keep it up there.
Put a little piece on there, just so that, look, we can put them up, and we'll just butt all those up against it. See that now? And another board goes in, and every board goes on just like that, right? We'll put them in snug.
Yeah.
And that's it. And you can see with this piece here, we'll just move it down as we go. We just tack it on. You can see this screw nail in there, and we'll get this second platform built in no time at all. Okay, thank you. And look at the nice, beautiful view out there. Isn't that nice?
What are you looking at? The water?
Yeah, it's nice.
Are you leaving that on, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we are, and we're going to attach our barrels to our platforms. And a little tip, before you attach them, you want to pop the corks off them, as we have here. And you want to, let's see if I can get this, there we go. You want to get lots of Teflon tape on there, because once these guys go into the water, you're not going to be, well, you can, but you're not going to want to have to take it out if a little bit of water leaks or seeps through the covers. So lots of Teflon tape, and that should prevent any water from leaking into the barrels in the short term. So we have our connectors here, and we've lag bolted them through, and as you can see, 2 bolts in each one. And we're going to do the same thing to the other end. And you want to be careful when you're doing this. You want to have all the cut pieces on the same end, right? So we're going to do this to the opposite end of the other platform. That way all the cut pieces will be on one end, so we can do a little stain on it just to preserve it from the water. Okay. So we got all our leg brackets on, and these are top quality brackets, as you can see. And the holes are going to go down through there, obviously, and be tightened with bead bolts. One little note here: we did this a few years ago, and those back plates that you see on there, we couldn't find those a few years back, and that saves big time on the bolts ripping into the side of the 2x6 there, in case you ever decide to add on, or if you want to take this apart for whatever reason. Those plates, if you can find them in your local hardware store, I would highly suggest getting them, and we have them down here. You can see right there, back plate, 4 bolts. Here we are there. And we're almost ready to flip this baby over and put the barrels on. And look, there's the first section, waiting. And she's going out there. And it's going to be a dandy. And we have our platform ready. And we're going to pop the barrels on. And we're good to go.
Take 2.
So we're bracing our barrels. Just, you don't have to, right? This one here is in here. It's in there pretty good. But what we're doing is we're going to put a little brace, and this is just some old scrap wood. If you had a nice little piece of 2x4, it would be sweet, but we don't have any extra, so that's a piece of scrap. And what we did was we slid the barrel in, and we butted that scrap piece up against it, and we drilled 2 screws through it. And then when we slide that barrel back in here, it'll be nice and tight, and we'll put our strapping on it, like you see on this. Oops, like you see on this piece here. And we'll be good to go. See, there's the strapping there, and you can see there's the piece of wood right there that we have That way it's just not going to bounce around in the water if kids are jumping on it. And we have our finished product. Look at that, isn't that a nice view?